once again to another edition of Quick Trivia with Mike. It's the weekly quiz show right here on channel 955, where we test your knowledge of facts. Sometimes a little bit more historic in nature, sometimes very contemporary. Hopefully always a lot of fun. I am your host and the quizmaster, Mike Brever. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, the incomparable Cooper Ledvina. Hello, Cooper. How are you?
Wonderful. Glad to be here.
I'm really happy to have you here. You know, I know you, the viewers, know this. It's been a while now, but Cooper used to have a more direct impact on the show. You were the artistic director.
I was, whatever that means.
For about the first 100 episodes. Well, what that means, and for those of you at home who are wondering what that means, Cooper was the one who took it from YouTube and got it up onto Touchdown. Right?
Yeah.
And then scheduled it so that you could see it at 11 o'clock on Friday, at 2 o'clock on Friday, and at 4 o'clock on Sunday. Cooper did all the mechanics to make that happen.
Happy to do it, too.
Well, and we were happy that you did. We're glad to have you back.
Glad to be here, yeah.
Good. Excellent. You know, Cooper, you know how the show works. We give our viewers 3 questions every week. We begin the show by giving the answers to last week's questions. Then, brief intermission, and we give our viewers 3 new questions for the week.
Wonderful.
Well, we're going to begin today with a brand new tradition here at Quick Trivia with Mike. And I'm going to set the watch aside here so that we have a good idea of just how we're doing with timing. I say it's a new tradition here at Quick Trivia, but it's actually been over half a year now. Birthdays of the week.
Oh, fantastic.
Birthdays of the week. And this week we have some very special ones. Elmer Jacobson on August 8th celebrates a birthday. Now I know you viewers know that there's, believe it or not, more than one Jake Jacobson here at East Castle Place. This is the Jake Jacobson that lives on the 3rd floor of Contemporary. We'll call him New Jake and Old Jake. This is New Jake.
Perfect.
This is New Jake.
2 Jakes.
They're the 2 Jakes.
That's right.
Maybe we should go off on that. The 2 Jakes.
What's the next one on there?
The second one is a birthday twin of Jake Jacobson. Seneca Church, also on August 8th, celebrating a birthday. And last but not least, on August 11th, the incomparable Betty Perman. Betty Perman celebrates a birthday on August 11th. And I know it's a ways off in the future, but there's only one other August birthday, so we're going to throw it in the mix right now as well. August 21st, Polly Tarantino. Polly Tarantino celebrates a birthday on August 21st. So, if you happen to pass any of these birthday kids in the hall, please take the time to wish them a very, very happy birthday, and wish them one from all of us here at Quick Trivia. We'd like them to know that we're thinking of them as well.
Yeah, a very happy birthday.
Very well, very well. Now, Cooper,
Uh-oh.
this is a chance to visit with you a little bit before we get into last week's question.
Oh, dear.
I know that you recently have taken a new position here at East Castle Place.
Yeah.
This goes back probably about 6 months now, right?
About, 6 or 7. Time flies when you're having fun.
And you went from what we call community life, in essence, our activities department, and you went to our marketing department, helping fill the new units here.
That's
How's
right.
that working out?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I got a new name tag and everything. Same old picture, though.
I never change it.
No, yeah.
We just keep bringing that picture forward.
Yeah, can't change my stripes.
That's right. Maybe you'll be in accounting someday, and we'll just give you a new name tag, same picture. Yeah, that's right.
No, it's been a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy getting to meet the future residents and getting to see and kind of plan out how they're gonna mingle with our current residents. And sometimes we have events where they can, and other times it's just kind of like research where I think, oh, they have these hobbies. We got to connect them with residents who are here now.
You know,
so it's a fun opportunity to kind of get a jump on that.
That gets back to, I think, our philosophy here. Is when you come to East Castle Place, you're moving to a community. And your job is to help them fit into that community as seamlessly and as quickly as possible, right?
That's right. Well, technically, I'm the move-in coordinator.
The move-in coordinator.
Yeah.
That's an impressive title.
I think so, too. It moves me.
And I think it's actually something more than that. Cooper knows this. those of you that are new residents know this as well. All directors are supposed to meet with our new residents. I typically wait 4 to 6 weeks because I want people to get acclimated a little bit, make sure that they have questions, you know, that haven't been answered yet. You're basically their primary contact for that first 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And
I'm a gopher.
A gopher. You know, but I'll tell you, a lot of the issues that new residents have really don't fit into anybody's job description.
That's true. That's true. Or they overlap, or they're all, There's many different needs. Yeah.
But addressing those needs are what make people feel at home.
Yes.
Right?
And that's what I would say is the coordination part.
Yeah.
You know, and finding out like who to talk to.
Exactly.
I'll say, you know, I might not know the answer to that, but I think I know who does, and I'll try to put the people together and get it done. So
I like to say when I meet with them after they've been here 4 to 6 weeks, and I try to solve problems for them, that I don't cut red tape around here, but I know where we keep the scissors. And I think it's important that there's a scissors cutter like you available in the early stages.
Thank you. I just try not to run with them, with the scissors.
There you go. So what's been the biggest transition from your old job to your new job?
Let's see, just as regards different duties and things.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, do you interact with a different group of employees now, or
that's a good question.
different hours? I know you used to work the open bar.
Yeah, I used to work the open bar, which I miss. So I don't do that anymore. Actually, I'm Monday through Friday most of the time. I used to do weekends, so that was a bit of a transition. But I really think that a lot of my experience in community life, or working at the front desk or in the kitchen in different departments, really gave me a leg up when it came to coordinating and working with different people around here, different staff members around here. I've had some really good experiences collaborating with other departments and other directors. And that really comes in handy when you got people moving in and they might have an IT issue or a maintenance issue or just requests, you know, or questions about where's the storage unit?
Understood.
Where do I park?
Yes.
How does the meal plan work? And it's great to be able to have answers or have the person that can provide the answers.
I have people that have lived here 8 to 10 years and they're saying, how does the meal program work? So that's a joke. Majorca, we love you.
Yeah, no.
It's a joke,
and as you mentioned, you know, Majorca or Eric or any of the directors, they really do a great job visiting and making sure the new residents feel comfortable. Because it's not even that there might be issues or requests or anything. It's just great for them to get to know each other, connect, and then have the name and the face. So
this is a really talented team of individuals we have working here, and their primary goal is to make sure that you feel like this is your home.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's important.
And it's such a big change.
It is.
You know, maybe moving from a house, you know, downsizing a little bit, coming to our community. It's a great change, but it's a lot. Working with moving companies and movers and all that kind of stuff. So I try to make it as easy as possible, try to smooth things out.
I think you do a good job.
Well, thank you.
I will tell you one thing though that I've always been impressed with in your background here at East Castle Place. We are, in fact, a continuum of care, which means people move here when they're fully independent. As their needs increase, maybe an aide comes to help them. Maybe they ultimately move to assisted living. In some cases, skilled nursing or memory care may actually become an ultimate destination. You've done activities in memory care.
Yeah.
So you actually know what it's like to watch residents that have progressed through the system.
Yeah, there was a while there where I was kind of the backup guy. So, I mean, I was in independent living, and then I was in memory care about half the time, and then of course I would substitute or cover in assisted living or skilled nursing if I had to. I mean, I was happy to, or it need be, I should say. And that really was valuable to me, especially in my current role, to see different levels of care, different needs, you know.
See how it all fits together.
See how it all fits together.
Exactly.
And a smoother transition throughout.
And to understand how this can become a home for life.
Yeah.
For people that come here.
I feel very lucky. I had some really great
a great community.
memories.
It's a great community.
Yeah, and it really is a community, and it really all fits together.
Good.
There's a lot of wonderful overlap.
And people like you are one of the reasons. So we're pleased.
Back at you, Mike.
You know, what we're going to do now, though, is we're going to take a look at last week's questions.
Sure.
Now, these, if you know the answer, I encourage you to give me the answer. The questions in the second half of the show, that's the challenge for our residents. So we ask you not to throw the answers out there. If you do know the answers, tell me off camera.
Okay.
And we'll take it from there. All right?
All the real fun happens off camera anyway.
All the real fun. Our first question from last week. Quintus Horatius Flaccus, known as Horace. You know the man, right?
Him and I go way back. We used to go to Badger games together in college.
I don't think so. Born on December 8th, 65 BC.
Oh, that horse. Yeah.
Passed away on November 27th, 8 BC. So he only lived for 57 years, actually, which actually was a ripe old age.
It is.
In that era.
You know what I always say?
I think the average age lifespan was like 30-some years.
If that. There were a lot of things going on back then.
That's correct.
Rough. And very often people would get a chill because they were wearing togas.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and then, yeah.
That's right.
I was going to say, we used to say when I was younger, you know, never look a gift horse in the mouth. That's from him. That's based off of him.
Remind me, folks, that this is the last time that Cooper is going to be co-hosting.
It's all Greek to me.
We'll go from there. No, this is Roman.
Oh, Roman, yeah,
Roman.
Yeah. I used to be a Romer.
At any rate, Horace was an elegant poet. He crafted his poems in hexameter verses. Satyrs and epistles are two of his most famous ones. He also did some in iambic poetry, and that was Epides, one of his most famous poems. Very, very well known for his time.
Sure.
You know, kind of like maybe a songwriter today. You know, the Bruce Springsteen, if you will, of his era.
So Horace was the boss of his era.
He was. And he actually lived during the era of Augustus. One of Horace's very, very famous sayings, which has been mistakenly attributed to Winston Churchill, who also famously said it. But Winston Churchill was quoting Horace. The greatest lesson in life is to know what? The greatest lesson in life is to know what? Direct quote from Horace, stolen by Winston Churchill. Do you have a guess? The greatest lesson in life is to know what?
Well, my first thought is it's Winston Churchill, so it would be where the gin is, but that can't be right.
No, no.
Is it...
Nor where the cigars are kept.
yeah. Is it that I know nothing? Is that him?
You know, that's actually not bad. It's not correct.
It's not
but
correct.
It's not bad.
I remember that one, yeah. All I know is I know nothing.
The direct quote from Horace was, the greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes.
Oh, well, that's great. You know what I'll say a lot? I'll say even a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's correct. That is correct. Absolutely. So, Horace, the greatest lesson in life is to learn that even fools are right sometimes. There you have it.
That's great.
Question number one. Question number two, the Declaration of Independence. We really had a broad variety of topics last time.
Going a little bit forward.
That's correct. You know, it was approved by the Continental Congress, the Second Continental Congress on July 4, 1776. It actually, however, was adopted unanimously on July 2nd. It also started to be signed on August 1st. So there's really many different dates that you could claim are our Day of Independence. But July 4th is the date that we all go with. It, of course, was the declaration that the Continental Congress passed that declared us free from Britain's rule and King George. King George, and thrown off the yoke of tyranny, as people said.
Yeah.
So the first signatures went on August 1st of 1776. My question to our viewers, How long did it take for the last signer to sign the Declaration of Independence? And just, this will probably give it away to you. Thomas McKean was the last person to sign. When did Thomas McKean sign the Declaration of Independence?
No idea. That's my answer.
The first signatures went on, I said August 1st. It was actually August 2nd.
Was it John Hancock?
1776. No, he was the biggest.
Yeah, he wasn't planning on anybody else writing on it.
Yeah, he thought he was the only one. He thought he was the grand poobah.
Yeah.
Thomas McKean did not add his name to the Declaration of Independence until 1781.
Oh.
Literally 5 years after the fact.
Just squeeze it
Kind of
on there.
testing the waters there.
See how it turns out.
Yeah, that's right. See how it turns out.
Well, weren't they in hiding for a while there? They didn't want to publish the
Frankly,
fact they signed it because it was.
They would have been hung.
Yeah,
And remember, at the time of the Declaration of Independence, 1776, really, roughly a third of the population of the colonies, which was roughly 2 million people, a third of them were in support of independence. A third of them were what we call Tories. They still supported the king.
Yeah.
And a third of them really didn't care.
Like,
They just
"Hey,
wanted
I'm a
to
farmer."
live their life.
Yeah.
That's right. So people who were involved with the liberators, if you will, their lives really were in danger.
Yeah.
You never knew who friend and foe was
Yeah.
at that time. But obviously by 1782, Declaration of Independence had come to fruition, the colonies were free, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah, you can't write your name on them anymore because
No.
they put it in a glass case. So you
Yeah,
can't
I
do it.
tried,
Yeah.
and they were not in favor of that.
Yeah.
Our third question from last week, we talked about John F. Kennedy and his excursion on PT 109. You're familiar with that, right?
A little bit, yeah.
PT 109, it was his boat, a PT boat in the Pacific Ocean during World War II.
Yeah.
In an excursion, his boat was cut in half by a Japanese destroyer. 2 of his men died as a result of the collision. He saved the rest of his men by swimming 12 hours
Wow.
to a nearby island. When they got to the nearby island, I'm sorry, 4.5 hours. Bit of an exaggeration there.
Yeah. He was in better shape.
4.5 hours. And actually they did have, some of them had life jackets. So,
Okay.
but nonetheless,
That's a long swim.
good swimmers.
Yeah.
When they got to the island, there was no food or drinkable water.
Sure.
Kennedy then swam after the first day to another island to get food and water. While he was there, the famous coconut thing. He writes a message, you know, Lieutenant J.G., John F. Kennedy, we're alive on such and such an island. Natives on that island who didn't speak English got the coconut to coast watchers.
Oh.
Who got it to the United States Navy. They sent a ship and Kennedy's men were saved. The commander of the Japanese ship that cut his PT boat in half was Lieutenant Commander Kohei Hanami. Ironically, much later in life, John F. Kennedy and Kohei Hanami had another run-in.
Oh.
And I asked you, our viewers, when was this next time that they ran into each other? Kohei Hanami and John F. Kennedy.
At the White House?
Close.
Oh.
Close. You're actually on the right track.
Well. Somewhere in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the event that brought them together.
Oh. His inauguration?
Yes!
Oh!
John F. Kennedy invited Kohei Hanami to be his special guest at his inauguration.
Well, whatever floats your boat.
There you go. We're going to take a pause on that one. That's the answer to question number 3. They met up again when Kennedy invited Kohei Hanami to be his special guest at the inauguration. There, yeah, in 1961, obviously.
And they were okay.
They were okay. It was, you know, this was war.
Yeah.
You know, and Kohei Hanami Go out there with a ship and say, where is that Kennedy?
Yeah, right, yeah, that's my chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Those are the answers to the 3 questions from last week. We're going to take a brief intermission. I encourage you all to go get yourself a little brain food. Donut, cup of coffee. We've got some really, really, really good questions for you in the second half. They're going to test your knowledge of trivia, so hurry back. Cooper and I are going to be waiting right here.
Dashing through the snow. You don't need to necessarily sing Christmas songs. I do need to get my fingers limbered up a little bit though. Let's be the ones to start to know the new reality closer to the heart. Yeah, let's hear you. Closer to the heart. The box is in the audience, reflectors in the arms, zippers and blowners. Each must know his part. So new mentality. And I don't need oxygen to live, you fucking idiot.
All right, fuck it, let's go.
Okay, just Ricky, calm down. I just lost it for a second. I got carried away. I apologize.
Welcome back to the second half, everybody. I am your quizmaster, Mike Brever, and I'm joined today by my very special guest, Cooper Ledvina. Cooper, let's delve a little bit more into your background.
Okay.
I know one of the very interesting things about you that actually made you a very valuable person here at East Castle Place
Oh, shucks.
is that you have a bartender's license. You actually have a past as a bartender, right?
Yeah, I did a little bartending and worked in restaurants for a few years, and even worked in coffee shops for a few years too. So
Really?
Yeah.
But now, I know that for a while you lived in Madison. Is that where you were born and raised?
I was born and raised just outside of Green Bay, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, in a little town called Luxembourg. I guess it's a village.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
So then I went to Madison, lived there for about 10 years, went to school.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
And do you have a degree from Madison?
I have a degree from Edgewood College in Madison.
Actually, that's a very well-respected college.
I pretty much got a free ride.
Did they burn it down?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know if you know this, but I went for an English major.
Very good.
English literature.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what your undergrad degree is in?
It's my undergrad degree. And so,
Okay.
of course, I naturally went into restaurants and bartending after college.
You know, my undergrad degree was in history.
Oh, wonderful.
And here I am,
Yeah.
running a trivia show!
That's perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
My master's degree had nothing to do with history. I have a master's in management from Cardinal Stritch. Did you get a advanced degree then too?
No, just a regular.
Just a regular degree.
Yeah, but there's still time.
From Edgewood College.
Yeah.
You know, that's not bad. You know, and there is still time because we actually offer scholarships here.
That's right.
And you know what? It's scholarship time at the Treasure Chest right now.
You know, I encourage any employee that I meet that's talking about school or in school to apply for that.
You know what
Yeah.
though? The deadline was Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
But I do agree with you that this is a wonderful opportunity and people should take advantage of it. It comes as a result of the hard work of 30 resident volunteers who give over 500 hours a year of their time to make this all happen. Literally, a quarter-time staff person would be required to fulfill the activities that these volunteers do.
And
It's a remarkable story.
The treasure chest.
The treasure chest, yeah. It's a remarkable story. And then the resident volunteers and the treasure chest are the ones who decide who get the scholarships.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for students and the residents. And you know, that's one of the things that really helps with my role as a move-in coordinator. We might have residents who are, or future residents who are planning on moving in, they want to downsize, and they don't know what to bring. They're having a hard time deciding what they want in their apartment.
Sure.
They move in, they say, oh, I might have a little bit too much stuff. I tell them about the treasure chest, and it's a real relief.
And it's gone in reverse too. We've
had
had residents move in and they say, boy, you know, I wish I had a bookcase in that corner.
Yeah.
Come down to the treasure chest and there it is.
And you know, and the same with employees who are also students.
Exactly.
They might be moving into a new apartment and they might need a new desk.
That's correct.
Or something like that. It all works together.
You yourself are moving now, right?
I am.
Are you moving closer to work or further away from work?
I'm gonna move a little further away from work.
Still walking distance though?
Still walking distance. I like to walk. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I
People
know
tell me to
that
take a
about
hike, you know. So.
You were down just off of Brady Street before.
I was, yeah. Pretty
and-
happening place, yeah.
Yeah, well,
So-
yeah, it's a wild community down there.
It is, it is.
Nothing like when I was your age, though.
No.
When I was your age, it was the place to be seen at night.
That's what I've heard. I've also heard that Downer Avenue used to be much wilder than it is now, too.
You know, the theater in particular was the focal point of community life there for a long time. And it was avant-garde.
Yeah.
It's at that theater that I first saw Harold and Maude.
A classic film.
Which is a classic film, and I just loved it. Ruth Gordon was just absolutely phenomenal in that movie. She stole the movie.
Yeah, and you know what I said? I had a coworker and a friend who watched it probably maybe a month and a half ago, and she mentioned seeing it and asked if I had seen it, and I said, of course. I think Harold and Maude is a movie that's really aged well.
Yeah, it has. You know, other things on the east side, though, that I used to do when I was Cooper's age.
Sure.
Right around the corner here at the Oriental. Friday night, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Every Friday night, I saw it 57 times.
Little Midnight Madness for you.
It was a great time, and again,
Yeah.
a place to see and be seen.
Yeah, and I used to do that in my younger days. I used to do that in Madison. There used to be one in
It was
in
throughout
Madison.
the country.
The
There was a
Orpheum.
movie theater almost at every town that
Yeah.
did it. Yeah. Well, Cooper, should we take a look at next week's question?
I think we should. I think that'd be great.
I see you looking at the pictures.
I'm sneaking a peek.
Everybody knows about the evening talk shows around here. The Tonight Show, you know, the Late Show with Tom Schneider.
Sure.
You know, all kinds of late night guest hosts. But for a long time, daytime talk shows were as big. They're still prevalent.
Sure.
But they don't generate the kind of money that the evening talk shows do. However, one of the biggest of an era when it was a big deal was Mike Douglas. Mike Douglas, born August 11th, 1920, passed away, believe it or not, August 11th, 2006. Born and died on the same day. He was a big band era singer, entertainer, and a television talk show host. A lot of people don't know it, but he also was voiceover on a lot of animated feature-length movies.
Oh, that's fun.
He did that stuff as well.
I've done a little voiceover too, but you know.
Really?
Yeah.
A little or a very
Just
little?
a little bit.
Very little.
Don't Google it.
He began his talk show career in 1961 in Cleveland at WKYC TV. He also, on his particular show, one of the things he was noted for, you know, all these talk show hosts, they have an MC, a guest host.
Sure.
You know, Ed McMahon was with Johnny Carson for a long time. Arthur Treacher, from Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips, was Mike Douglas's for a long time. People used to laugh because Arthur Treacher was well up in years at that time. He'd fall asleep during the show. It was pretty good.
Has that ever happened during your show?
No, my guest host usually gets to stay awake, but who knows?
I drank a big coffee before this episode. I have to be honest.
There you go. We'll be taking a bathroom break soon. But he actually was a very, very well-known and respected talk show host.
Sure.
And actually, people really loved being on his show because he typically was, you know, very diplomatic, very polite. He was always trying to promote the people that he was with, but he had a way of making it feel like conversation, not necessarily promotion. Really a very gifted host and entertainer. Actually one of the most famous things about Mike Douglas is who used to appear on his show. One of the most famous. By the way, his talk show was on from 1961 to 1981.
Okay, a little bit before my time.
That's correct. One of his most interesting guests during that 1961 to 1981 show. Before I get to that, let me tell you one other thing. I told you he did voiceovers on a lot of full-length feature movies. His most famous, he was the voice of Prince Charming in Cinderella.
Oh, the original, yeah.
The original Prince Charming in Cinderella.
Wow.
There you have it. Mike Douglas was Prince Charming in Cinderella.
Not a lot of people can say that.
No. I don't think my wife says that about me, but who knows?
I think I've only been...
Who knows what she says when I go to work? At any rate...
There goes Prince Charming.
One of his most famous guests was 2 years old at the time. And he came on to show off his golf swing. Who was a 2-year-old guest on the Mike Douglas show who came on to show off a golf swing?
I'm not going to guess because that's for the viewers.
Question number 2. We've actually talked about this guy before. Actually, a much smarter and nicer man than his reputation gives him credit for. Dan Quayle.
Okay.
Dan Quayle is very, very famous, a very famous politician. 44th Vice President of the United States, born February 4th, 1947. From 1989 to 1993, he served as Vice President, the 44th Vice President. He served under George H.W. Bush, one of the 2 Bush boys
the first,
that served as president. George H.W. was the father. George W. was the son.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, everybody always said that Jeb was the smartest of the 3, and he never became president.
No, he didn't.
He came up against a titan of American politics, Donald Trump, and never got to sit in the White House.
Was he down in Florida?
Jeb Bush.
Jeb Bush,
He actually was governor of Florida in the 2000 election when the hanging chads became an issue, and it was his state that really determined. This last election, the 2020 election, there were like 160 million votes were cast. Okay, well, consider that like 157 votes in Florida decided the president in 2000. And the Supreme Court finally had to be the arbiter in all of that.
Yeah, and now it's what they do.
That's right. Dan Quayle, however, was very, very famous for his funny quotes and misstatements. He really didn't mean to say some of the things that he said. It just came out incredibly, incredibly funny. Republicans understand the importance of bondage between a mother and child. I am not part of the problem. I am a Republican. One word sums up probably the responsibility of any vice president, and that one word is be prepared.
Well, those are good.
They are. When I have been asked during these last weeks who caused the riots and the killing in LA, my answer has been direct and simple. Who is to blame for the riots? The rioters are to blame. Who is to blame for the killings? The killers are to blame.
That's pretty slippery, but yeah.
It's prescient. It's prescient.
Yeah.
Illegitimacy is something we should talk about in terms of not having it. So you can see, where he was going with this, but it always seemed to come out wrong.
Yeah. I can relate. Some of those would make great needle points for the wall. Yeah.
He was ribbed mercilessly by the press at that time.
Yeah, really ruffled Quill's feathers.
Absolutely, and of course the Democrats just had a field day with it. Obviously he was a Republican, so the Democrats just had a field day with it. What a waste it is to lose one's mind, or not to have a mind is being very wasteful. How true that is.
That's good. That sounds like a Horace quote, actually.
That is. He also had some very, very famous comments about space.
Oh, wonderful. I'd love to hear them.
And that is question number 2. Mars essentially in the same orbit. Mars is somewhat the same distance from the Sun, which is very important. We have seen pictures where there are canals, we believe, and water. He ended his quote by saying, because there is water, that means something. What does having water on Mars mean in Dan Quayle's malaprop mind? What did having water on Mars mean in Dan Quayle's vision of speaking spontaneously? That, my friends, is question number 2. Question number 3. United States Department of Defense. United States Department of Defense, known as the DoD or the U.S. DoD, is an executive branch of the government of the federal government charged with coordinating and supervising all agencies and functions of the government directly related to national security and United States Armed Forces. The DoD is the largest employer in the world with over 1.4 million active duty service members. Soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and guardians. As of 2021. More employees include over 826,000 National Guard and reservists and over 732,000 civilians, bringing the total population of the Department of Defense to 2.8 million. It's headquartered at the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, just outside Washington. Sure. And actually, if you're heading south leaving Washington, it's one of the most impressive sights you're ever going to see. Just an amazing complex. The DoD's stated mission is to provide the military forces needed to deter war and ensure our nation's security. Little known fact about the Department of Defense is that up until August 10th, 1949, so actually all the way through World War II, they were known as the National Military Establishment. Why did the Department of Defense rename themselves from the National Military Establishment to the Department of Defense? That, my friends, is question number 3. Now, folks, you know there are 2 ways you can get your name on Quick Trivia. One is to call in with your answers by noon on Monday. Unfortunately, Cooper and I are actually taping this a little bit in advance because I'm on vacation off and on over the next 2 weeks. So calling in with your answers doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get your name on. Call in with suggestions for questions.
Oh.
And I'll get your name on. I'll give you credit. We've had lots of people get reference as suggesting. My own wife, Mary Beth, Jim Fry has given us suggestions. Susan Comstock. I've used questions from lots of people, and I give them credit. So if you want to get your name on Quick Trivia, please feel free to send me some questions. We're going to resume this getting your name on by calling in with some of the answers as soon as my vacations are over. We're just taping a couple weeks in advance, that's all. So that's our show for this week. As always, I would like to thank the president of ECTV, Tyler Gudex, my executive producer, Stacy Abbott, my editor and producer, the incomparable Scott McFerrin. I've said it many times, and I used to say about Cooper as well, if there's anything you like about Quick Trivia, Scott's fingerprints are all over it, and of course Cooper's used to be all over it as well. If you ever cross paths with them in the corridor, let them know that you enjoy the show, because they're the ones who really make it a show. I'd also like to thank my special guest host of the day, of the week, Cooper Ledvin. Cooper, thanks very much. I hope you had a good time.
Of course, I always have a good time.
I have a wonderful time having you here. I hope you'll be willing to come back again sometime. Of course. If you can't find anybody else, I'll be happy to do it. Well, I'd like to say people are breaking down my doors, trying to guest host. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is I have to go out and seek. Now, I do have people lined up. But yes, we will have opportunities for people to come back, and I'd love to have you come back. You were a good sport and just fabulous. Like I said, I always love being on the show, and good. A lot goes into making an episode. It really does. Yeah. It really does. Let Stacy, Scott, and Mike know that it's a great show. Well, thank you. Yeah. It is a good show. I'd also like to thank you, our viewers,
Oh.
for spending the last half hour with us. I know you have a lot of things you can do with a half hour of your time, especially with having about 150 cable stations at your disposal. I'm really glad you took the time to spend it with Cooper and I here today.
Thank you so much.
Now, Cooper, we have a special sign-off every week. Have you seen the show lately?
Not the ending of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the very famous television and movie actress Betty White?
Yeah, of course.
Betty White,
The-
you know.
That's
Carol Burnett.
That's Carol Burnett.
Carol
Sorry.
Burnett was always saying
That was
goodbye to
Carol
her
Burnett, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Betty White. Betty White was one of the many stars of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She was also on Golden Girls.
A classic.
Movies that she was in, many of them, the most famous, or one of my favorites, is The Proposal. And I'll tell you, she steals that movie. If you've not seen it yet, I highly recommend you
Not to
see
see
it
it.
just
I've
for
always
her.
been a Betty White fan, so.
Good. Betty White passed away earlier this year, 2 weeks shy of her 100th birthday. But later in life, she became very well known for the great advice she gave people. And one of the greatest bits of wisdom she told people was that she highly recommended that everybody get 8 hours of beauty sleep every night.
Well, that's right.
Unless, of course, you're ugly, in which case you should get 9. There you have it, folks. That's our show for this week. We'll see you next week.